Hello and welcome to yet another interesting episode of the podcast series Rendezvous, the story of power, passion, and purpose. I, Mamita Gokhale, have been enjoying these conversations with each and every inspirational speaker. Today, I have with me Neha Pantiwari. With over a decade of corporate experience, she is a corporate warrior turned youth mentor and happiness coach certified by Berkeley Institute of Wellbeing and also a certified NLP practitioner. She is the founder of Your Success Story based out of Pune. She is passionate about the subject of happiness, well-being, and youth empowerment. Let us welcome Neha today. Hi Neha, how are you doing?
Hi, Momita. So good to see you. I'm doing good myself and very happy to be here for you today.
Thank you so much for making this happen and taking this opportunity to talk on the three P's today. Yeah. So my first question, or I think that's something that I have also been exploring. What comes to your mind when you hear power, passion, and purpose?
Energy, enthusiasm, and courage to lead. This is what echoes in my head when I hear these words out loud from you, Momita. These three words are in a lot of way reason for being, and they form a very, very important part of my own ikigai for that matter. As a happiness coach, I have a firm belief that until you're able to unfold your purpose, your reason for being, until you're able to figure your passion, what enlivens you, your potential, your power, your happiness, your sense of success, achievement, and fulfillment will always elude you. And therefore, understanding these three P's that we are talking today and creating a life that is in alignment with these is very, very important.
Awesome. I love the energy that you started, and it's energy, right? Energy and enthusiasm. So, a very different way to look at power and passion. So, thank you so much for that. Uh, I understand you are in happiness coach, and you're like, I can see a lot of happiness already projecting out. So, in that case, which P plays a critical role for you?
Well, that's a great question. To my mind, not just in my case, in most of the cases, purpose takes precedence over the other two. And I'll tell you the reason why. When you have a clearly defined purpose, it provides you a definitive framework for your power and your passion to express themselves in alignment, So your purpose literally pulls up your power and potential, all right? In the absence of a clearly defined purpose, what will happen is your power, your focus, your energy will all be scattered, and your life will actually be a one big misaligned mess without you really knowing why. And therefore, I think purpose leads and the other two follow.
I think perfectly aligned thought in terms of without an objective, where would one go, right? Even if I have power and passion. I think
Absolutely.
that makes a lot of sense. At the same time, since I have been also into coaching sessions and when I'm talking to individuals, purpose is something that people still struggle with. What has been your experience? What would you tell them who are yet to find their purpose?
Okay. So it's all about focus and clarity, Mamita. Life is a manifestation of what you choose to focus on, okay? And whatever you choose to focus on is going to grow. This applies equally well to the purpose, the passion, the power that we're talking about today, all right? Now, one thing which I want the viewers and the listeners to understand very clearly is that things like passion, things like purpose, these are not the things that can be manufactured or which can be created. These are things which can only be uncovered and discovered with time, all right? As you go along your journey of life, now what will help you to possibly expedite the exploration of these would be growing in your awareness levels, awareness of self, awareness of your environment, developing a sense of mindfulness, probably growing and developing social and emotional intelligence, probably creating certain rituals and practices which will put you in that path and help you stay in that path of self-discovery. Also, possibly learning and practicing certain conscious living practices, which will help you direct your energy and attention and focus to that element of alignment that we talk about. Now, so far as your power is concerned, Momita, you need to understand that being in control of yourself and your environment and feeling capable is what translates into power. So that's how I look at developing these three quotients.
I think this helps a lot to unleash, each one of us are trying to, go and find our purpose, our passion, and, trying to see where the power is coming from within. And the steps that you put in, very, very critical one, awareness. You started with awareness. I think that's where we all start. So this is very helpful. Thank you for sharing this, Neha. Maybe one question that comes to my mind, yes, you did mention purpose is the key and it is the starting process. But when it comes to Neha, and there is a situation where you need to decide, which one would that be?
So in my case as well, it will always be purpose first.
Yeah.
That is something which comes from experience. So let me share my story with you, really. And that'll give us a clue as to how these three things unfolded for me in my life, all right? So I started off as a banker right after my MBA, moved on to consulting, worked with one of the big fours for many number of years in one of the major business verticals. And then I took a nice long sabbatical. Now, while I was working, I was pretty happy. I mean, I didn't have too many complaints. But for this one thing, there was something deep inside me that was begging to be expressed out. It was screaming to be heard and paid attention to, And often I found myself asking questions like, will the next promotion or will the next financial set of goals which I have, if I achieve them, will it give me that sense of fulfillment which I have been craving for or not? And the answer often scared me. And that is when I decided to take a sabbatical. I worked on my own ikigai. I worked on my own value system. I worked on my key strengths and core competencies. And I worked on my own ecology in terms of what will work for me and what will not, given the nomadic lifestyle that I have. But most importantly, Momita, I worked on aligning my mind, body, and spirit to the work that I do. I wanted my work to be my second nature. I did not want there to be too much of a distance or difference between who I am and what I do. And that is how I gravitated very organically into coaching, mentoring, and training, and found my niche in happiness coaching and personal development. And that is also pretty much how your success story was born. So as I always mention, it all boils down to focus and clarity. I was very clear about three things in my life. First one was that I don't just want to be a working woman. I want to be a happy working woman. Somebody, who doesn't feel the burnout by the end of the day, but somebody who enjoys that burnout. Second thing was a very strong sense of self-identity. I wanted to be known for who I am and what I do, not just by the virtue of being someone. Third thing, which is actually a work in progress for me now, is creating a legacy or building up a legacy of my own. When I leave this world, I want people to remember me for how I touched their life. If not for something great, at least for something good. And these three core beliefs formed very strong three pillars, which helped me to kind of come with a purpose statement, and then the energy, the passion, the power, everything followed.
What an inspiring story, Neha. And thanks for sharing for, of course, working women, of course, and even the youngsters and the new, the generations who are entering into the workforce. I think clarity of mind and why you are here, I think that takes it away, and your story narrates it all. Happy to be in conversation with you at this point of time, Neha. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, my last question perhaps is your words of wisdom or your 2 cents to all our listeners today.
All right. So I think I would like all the listeners to redefine power for their own selves. Instead of looking for power in the external influences and external validations, you need to understand and know that true power lies in expressing your passion and living your purpose every single day. That is where the true power lies.
Awesome
Thank you so
definition.
much.
Awesome definition of power, because power at times is not taken very positively. And I'm so glad you articulated it, how we can bring passion and purpose to it. So, Neha, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mamita. Pleasure being here.
Well, that was a power packed conversation with Neha Pant. I'm sure most of her questions have been answered today with her passionate, candid sharings. Stay tuned and do share your comments. Look forward to many more such inspiring conversations in the podcast series Rendezvous, the story of power, passion, and purpose with Mamata Gokhale.